Hi everyone, and welcome to, I guess, what you can say is like my humble collection of Star Wars The Black Series. Um, I thought I would just like kind of do a tour, quote unquote, but minus the shaky camera because I'm really just, I'm really just a casual person when it comes to like anything techie. So I pretty much just took pictures of what's in my collection and then I'll just go through what I think are like pretty significant information about all of them, and maybe even some like interesting stories about like how I got them and stuff like that. So I'll I decided to start at least with what I have loose. And mostly I have them loose because I started out collecting the Black Series that way. Like, it just started out, I would put them at the foot of my bed, and they would be mostly like, Sith or people that are just all in black because I thought it would look so good uniformed. And then when they started reinventing the line, like releasing photoreal and new sculpts for like figures like Han, Leia, all the characters that I liked, I started branching out. But okay, going here, so basically this is a summary of what you can see is my loose collection. I do like clones. I really love clones, which is why I'm super picky in a sense. Yeah, I'm super picky with the clones that I buy. You'll notice that I don't have a lot, but when it comes to like my Black Series collection, they're like the ones that I'm kind of army building, if you can even call it that. But really, I just buy the clones that I like and with good articulation for the most part. So, um, if you'll notice, the Cody is a custom commission. So I didn't do any of these clones. I just find local customizers and then I ask if they can do stuff that I would like them to do, and they're just happy enough to oblige and do it well. So you'll see the Cody I have on the left is actually the Jet Trooper body, but fixed because the legs are misassembled. And then Wolf is of course kind of weathered, just with minor weathering. And Keely, Captain Keely is my favorite clone, so and in case you're asking, yes, I did pay a lot to have him done, but it was so worth it. Of course, Wrecker is my favorite Bad Batch member. Do I intend to get the others? For now, no, but I'm pretty open to the idea of getting maybe Echo next. And then, of course, Rex. Rex is a very lucky find because I was just scrolling through one of our local online selling platforms. This is not Facebook, by the way, but one of our local selling platforms here in the Philippines. And I just managed to find him for like, I think around $47. And for me, that was such a good price. And yeah, he's my one and only Rex. Bly is actually sort of like an accidental buy. Like I didn't commission it. Like I just saw someone selling a weathered Bly and I said, "Oh, it looked pretty good." So I just bought it, and that's actually the first custom that I ever bought from somebody. However, the one on the right, which is the A 6-inch Havoc Squad Trooper, is the first custom that I ever commissioned. So it's the first one I ever reached out to somebody for, and I'm just so happy with how it turned out, and that's really what got me into the commissioning part of collecting. So, um yeah, but I'll maybe in the future I'll do a more in-depth video about all of these. But for now that will have to do. Okay, moving on to like the bottom shelves that you saw earlier. So on the left is Kylo, um, which is still Kylo from the what was that? The Last Jedi. Yeah, it's still Kylo from The Last Jedi, but I gave him the Force Awakens robes. The Force Awakens robes. And of course, he's just holding his helmet. In case you guys are wondering what I did with the body, I just threw it because it's one of the more older bodies. Wasn't very good. And then of course that Luke in the back is a Kit Bash. I'm actually very happy with how that turned out. Maybe I'll do a video on him in the future. But it's just how I think Luke should have looked, or at least a personal preference of mine. And of course, it's so interesting because I have so many clones, but I have only one stormtrooper. But yeah, for me, it's the most appealing jet jump trooper. Yeah, it's the most appealing looking stormtrooper to me in the Black Series, including the ones that have been released on the new body. And the Royal Guard was again an accidental buy. I found it from like a Chinese retailer. It says Hasbro in his feet, so I'm betting it's authentic, but it didn't come with his weapon, so I just like made that. And then of course in the super bottom shelf of my loose figures, you'll see in the very bottom, in the very back left is L3. L3 is honestly my favorite droid. Uh yeah, she's my favorite droid, and then it's R2. And then the other droids that I know of are just to me. But yeah, L3 and then R2. I'm sorry, guys. And then in front of her is Trilla, the second sister. And actually, Trilla was my first ever Black Series figure. I didn't know anything at the time, so I threw her box away. Now I regret that a little bit. But yeah, she was my first figure, and you can kind of see there's like a little bit of like, she's been moved around a lot, and you can see how like her sword is bent. I mean, her blade is bent, like as proof of that. Of course, the best Han and best Leia are in front. Do I need to explain? They look amazing. And on the right, middle right, that's a custom Empress Ray that I did early on. So before I was commissioning people to do clones, I was kind of trying stuff out with like Ray, Finn, and um, Kylo. But it kind of really just didn't work out for me. Like I don't have the proper tools. So even those figures are just still kind of sticky now, a little bit. And then at the back right is a custom fin, which I actually kind of like. I wish I had brought him more to the foreground so you can see what I actually did. But for me, it's just kind of like a like a what if they joined the First Order kind of look. And now we're gonna go into my boxed segment, the box segment of my Black Series collection. Um, I tried my best to collate them here, and you're already basically seeing the other half of my collection, and you'll kind of notice that I don't really have a lot. I don't really have a lot, let's say, compared to like other collectors. I started out in 2020. But even then, that's like, maybe I could have gotten more, but I just choose to be kind of selective with my collection. So, anyway, this is just an overview, but I'll touch on the figures on the right, and then we'll go into more depth on the left because I saved like kind of the best for last. Okay, so Ventress was a lucky find. Ventress and Ahsoka were lucky finds. I managed to get them in my in my country for $35, which is such a good price to be honest. Uh I believe Ahsoka was like a personal birthday gift for myself, and then Ventress I was just lucky enough to find her. And then of course Bodhi. I love what they did with Bodhi. More than I love the actual character. Like if I were to pick, I'd probably would have gotten like a Chirrut. But I just really liked what they did with Bodhi, so I just got Bodhi instead. Um, and then of course you'll see I've kind of turned them around, but I still have like two blue line, original, authentic blue line stuff that I managed to find recently, and of course an orange line. And it's not really apparent here, but you'll see that from the bottom left, it's Palpatine. So the really ugly blue line Palpatine. And then in the middle, we have Slave Leia. Maybe in the future, I will do a more detailed videos on them. But right now, I'm kind of looking for one more, and that's Greedo. So I'm not really going to do a video on that yet. And then to the right of her is Imperial Pilot. So for me, it's such a cool design, even if it blends with the background of the box. But it just brings a little bit of nostalgia, if you will. And then of course the ones that are in the foreground, you have a Beskar Mando, which I got for like maybe like $34, and or less. I think it was, yeah, it was 28. And what else? And then, oh, Lando, speaking of which, oh, you might be thinking, oh, that's so gross, you got that Lando. But I actually do like the Lando. There's, even if there's a lot of him in the market right now, I do like that Lando. If I'm going to have one from the original trilogy, it's really gonna be this, and not the Skiff Guard one, and not the Cloud City one. I hope I am correct on those. And then, of course, we're going to go into the red line box stuff, which I started committing myself to, I think, around 2021. So I would just kind of like cherry pick from what's in the red line, and then considering what was in the market at that time in 2021, and then just like, decide whether they're like things I should get, or like if I like the character enough. So you'll see these are my choices. And two of them are not in, three of them are not in box because they're being displayed on my shelves right now. But yes, I do prefer this Revan compared to the archive Revan because of like paint differences. I like this Thrawn as well compared to the archive because it's more animated. So the details in his eyes really strike the viewer more. And then Jaina has really good articulation, so I got her. Padme, I love Padme. Count Dooku was more of like a because I should have him in my collection kind of buy. He's a great figure. I just, I just was more invested in the Jedi when it came to the prequel trilogy. So he was just more of like a because I should have him. And then of course that Obi-Wan Kenobi, that episode 2 Obi-Wan is my favorite Obi-Wan. He's like the only Obi-Wan I would ever plan to have in my collection because he was my Obi-Wan growing up. And I'm really happy that I got him for like $35. Or like, was it 30? Yeah, 30 to 35. And of course, I actually do like Donald Glover as young Lando. Like for me, it's like not as bad as people think. I think he was just very aware while playing Lando, so it's like, I kind of like that. And then of course, going into like the figures that I think are my grails, if you will, because I found them, not only just the fact that I found them, but I found them at good prices and not like scalper prices. Okay, the one on the left is Grievous, a great figure if you ask me. Um, uh, and what's really funny about this box is that the lightsabers, the plastic for them is inverted. So instead of going downwards, they're facing upwards, which is like a pretty unique thing, like to me. So I got Grievous for like 35. Yeah, around 35. And I think that was a very good price for Grievous. That Vader in the middle is actually the Empire Strikes Back Vader in the New Hope box. And I got that for $20 because like another collector was just decluttering. Um, but I really don't mind the different box, and you can really see it's the Empire Strikes Back Vader because of the armor around the shoulder blades. Yeah, there's no cloth going over it. It's under. I thought that was a really nice find. Originally I had the New Hope Vader, and then I just sold him to get this one, and I'm very happy and I don't regret it. And of course, easily the best find in my collection, Archive Anakin. And I got Archive Anakin for 38 $38. Sorry, in my mind, I have to convert it from my local currency to American dollars to make this video more universal. But I got Archive Anakin in 2021 for $38, which is, such a nice, it was a nice find for me next to Rex. So there. This is my collection. And before I end, I'd like to address a few points that I forgot to mention in the beginning. Number one is that only a few of my figures are mint in box. Like most of them, especially the red line ones, are BIB. There are some that are mint, like as in I haven't opened, but most of them are BIB. The ones that I pointed out earlier with like Ventress, Ahsoka, and Bodhi, they're sealed. I left them there really to be displayed. But the ones like Mando, those are open. Um, and of course, uh, what else? You'll sort of notice that I have like one of each character only, and that's a personal preference of mine, with the exception of clones, because you can kind of like make the justification that they're different people. But merely because like I really love clones. They're the ones that I'm choosing to army build, and everyone else just gets one of each. Mostly, as a just to save money. So it's very smart. I think it's a very smart strategy for me. Um, in terms of like keeping and storing these stuff, you'll notice that my red line boxes do have protectors, most of them except Vader, of course. And Grievous and Anakin are in those really extra boxes. Because I kind of really just found them around the house. Like I did not have those made. I just found them around the house. So that. I just used that, yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching and stay safe everybody.